What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Burrow77 here with my two good friends. You know them, you love them. We got a young leg with us, and we got Nick Diani here with us, and we are here to talk some Champions League football. It's already week one of Champions League season. Quickly before we start, do you guys have any sort of futures plays you want to talk about?
Real Madrid.
Oh, whoa, no way, dude. You're going to take Madrid to win it all?
You know, want to hear a crazier one? Mbappe top scorer. I don't know. Just throwing him out there.
Crazy. I'm with Leg. I like Madrid at plus 800 over on FanDuel. We obviously see some new looks here from some different teams. Plus 600 is going to be your shortest odds on Liverpool, Barcelona. Arsenal is somehow more favored than us, which is a little whack. PSG,
I am always fine with that.
PSG is returning champs. They're sitting at plus 650, plus 700. Think you're getting some good value on Bayern if you like Bayern to come out of Germany at 12-1. And we'll see. Nick, as our Italian expert, who's going to be the top finisher in Italy out of this one?
Man, depends on schedule, but Juve looks kind of good right now. Out of the four, believe it or not, which I never thought I would say.
Hell yeah. All right, we're going to keep it moving right into this week. Let's start it off for Tuesday. We got the early match with Bilbao hosting Arsenal at the San Mames. I really want to get involved with Bilbao here somehow. I just think it's going to be really hard. Bilbao over the weekend looked like ass. They didn't play their best lineup. They rested Nico Williams, but they lost a derby at the San Mames, a Basque derby to Alaves. So I do want to see a stronger lineup of Bilbao here. The over-under at 2.5 at plus 105 is a way I might get involved with this, because even if Bilbao doesn't get me a goal, their defense has been kind of trash. I do expect this stadium to be jumping, but over 2.5 here at plus 105, I could potentially see Arsenal scoring 3. I like their team total over 1.5 at plus 100, and I like the both teams to score here at minus 115.
I'm with you 100%. You took all three. I think this is an over game. Like you mentioned, Bilbao didn't look good, but they were very clearly looking ahead to this one. And Arsenal's looked good. You hate to say it. You hate to see it. But I don't see them coming out game one. I know they're away, but I don't see them not putting in a good effort, getting a goal, potentially 2 or 3, like you said. Other one I'm looking at, your boy, Inaki Williams, shot on target plus 105. If he's starting, I was shocked to see a number like that.
Everybody on Bilbao, pretty much in that front four. Inaki plus number, Sanset plus number, Berenguer plus number, Nico Williams, if he's healthy and available to go, he'll be a plus number. So even if Bilbao isn't able to get us a goal, there's value on player props here just by anybody in their front four to put a shot on target.
I'm just really big on any Sunset props. Sunset is the guy. He steps up in the big moments for me. Anytime I'm watching Bilbao, that's my go-to guy. I pretty much let you guys go first because off rip, when I just looked at the game, I was like, okay, Arsenal money line in the under. So that's why I wanted to let you guys just go off. It is the San Mames, which is a tough place to go play. Arsenal plays pretty tough in Spain. They have a decent record in Spain. Not a lot of English teams can really say that. And Bilbao did look like ass. I think they were rotating for this game. I think they may have looked ahead a little bit too much, but Arteta is used to playing against Spanish sides because he played them his whole life. So I do expect Arsenal to take care of business. I would love to see more than 2.5 goals, but I don't know if I would put my money on it. I love your guys' energy for it, though. There's plenty of people that could go do it. I will say, is Odegaard fully healthy? I don't think Saka's healthy. Does that mean Martinelli's playing? Madueke looks all right over there, but it's going to be a player prop heavy game for me. But off rip, just on paper looking at it, I just immediately thought Arsenal on under.
And I think you're valid. And one of the things I want to caution is it's match week 1 of Champions League, like you said, Oaks. Like we don't need to get super heavily involved with money lines, right? Like there's 8 games to go, right, for all of these teams. there's going to be some traps, right? Arsenal money line -115. It looks super attractive. It's, the books kind of want you to fall into that trap. I'm not saying they can't win. I'm not saying they won't win, but is it a sure thing? No way.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want to be involved with Bilbao here. I think they can get us a goal. I think I like the both teams to score at -115 a lot. I'm not going to try and dissuade anybody from taking Arsenal on the money line. It probably is the play. Just be careful. San Mames is always a very tough place for anybody to go on the road and play. But yeah, it's a combination of, we got a lot of funky results in all the leagues coming back from international break, and then with teams looking ahead to Champions League. But when you do start for Champions League, you want to start on the right foot, and you want to get all 3 points no matter who you are. So yeah, I'm with you guys.
I will say though, if the double chance floats to a plus number, it's going to be really hard not to bet on Bilbao at San Mames for a double chance at a plus sign. But we'll see what happens on game day.
I'm with you. Let's keep it moving. This is the other early game on Tuesday. We have PSV versus USG, Union St. Galois. And honestly, this one's on here mostly so we can talk about it's PSV season. Our boy Ricardo Pepe is back in the starting 11. He is coming off of a brace this past weekend where I believe PSV won like 5-1, maybe 5-2. But they hung up 5 over the weekend. Pepe's looking good. He's back in form. I love him for an anytime goal. Plus 145 over on FanDuel. Be sure to shop around. I didn't have time before the show to go get the best number, but there's a lot of nice player props here for PSV. I don't know nearly as much about this USG team as I used to. They are out of Belgium. This is where Victor Boniface was from. So this team has had a lot of turnover, but they do produce a lot of good talent that ends up moving up and moving on from the club.
Like, I feel like this is a carbon copy situation in the last game we just talked about, right? I want to say PSV money line. PSV at home are a monster. Like, should they win? Absolutely. But USG has been spoiler so many times in this competition in the past that I don't really know what to make of them. I'm with you. Pepe's on fire. I think, the over is obviously super juiced. To me, that's a great parlay piece if you want to throw it in with something else. I'm looking at Ivan Perisic. This dude is getting a little bit older, but he is a man reborn.
Last year's UCL stud.
Absolutely reborn. He's turned back the clock. Anytime assist plus 325 is kind of what jumped out at me for him.
I have complete confidence in PSV. I'm looking at PSV money line. I'm probably going to do PSV money line over 1.5. I like their team total. I think the over 1.5 for PSV at home. And this isn't me telling you they're going to beat the shit out of USG or anything, but they will score 2 goals for sure. So to see it at -160, again, PSV always handles business at home. They are a top heavy team. Even their fullbacks, who are some of their best attackers, Serginho Dest is back and right back into form. It seems like they always just slot more players. Like, you saw a bunch of people leave. Lang left, Bakayoko left, Viramin left. They immediately already filled those spots. Tillman's gone now, immediately filled those spots, and PSV's attack is still just humming. So give me the team total and give me the money line.
Yeah, I'm with it. I like PSV, especially at home on the -120. The other guy I want to mention is Gus Till, playing kind of the 10 role there. He's really good. He can shoot. He can distribute. His to score assist sitting at plus 140 over on FanDuel. Another number I like there. Let's keep it moving on into Tuesday afternoon, where we have Juventus hosting Dortmund. Dortmund, I don't know what to make of them. Much like last year, this team is just not keeping consistent player rotations that I love. Juve is a whole new look side. They got rid of Kolomouani. They brought in Jonathan David. Somehow Dusan Vlahovic is looking really fucking good now. Juve coming off a massive 7-goal game in a win in the Derby d'Italia over the weekend. I don't know. I like both teams to score here. I think Dortmund's going to find a way to get me one. They typically do. I think -150 is a little bit juiced as a standalone, but it makes a nice parlay piece. I'm not sure the game gets to over 2.5. -125 is definitely not a bad number if you like 3 goals here, or if you're thinking Juve money line, I do think both teams score here, but I think that draw is a real runner at plus 255. It's not last year, so Juve is not starting off with 17 draws in a row. But look, Dortmund struggled a lot in Bundesliga last year. I think they fell all the way down to 10th on the table, and they still ended up in a UCL spot, turning it on at the end of the season after they fired their managers. So I'm going to need to see how everything fits here for Dortmund, but Girassi and Karim Adeyemi are 2 guys I immediately look at from there. I like the both teams to score. I'm not sure we find a winner here.
Yeah, I was going to just make sure I talked before Nick so I could just ask him if that under screaming at me right now in Italy, it looks legit. Nick, are we legit on this under? Because
Juve Champions League style Juve is definitely an under Juve. Like you said, 7-goal game, last game with Inter. I don't know that they could pull one of those in back-to-back. Their defenses looked good, prior to that game. And, their offense is good enough. So, listen, Juve hasn't lost yet. They've looked good. Plus 105 at home. You kind of have to take it seriously. I think the under, I'm right there with you. And if you do believe in Dortmund, which there's no reason not to in the Champions League, they're another team that's tried and tested, and they seem to get results when nobody believes in them in this one. Adeyemi was the guy you mentioned, just plus 425 anytime goal scorer is just a stupid number for him. Not saying it hits, but that's where I'm willing to take a shot.
Had an assist over the weekend when Dortmund scored 3. There's a lot of other guys I like here. I got one for you. Juve's struggled to score in the first half outside of the Derby d'Italia. What do we think about halftime draw here? Plus 120, maybe even a little 0-0 action going into halftime. That is Juve's typical MO. Come out, control the football, start the game slowly, go look to win it towards the end.
If you want me to be completely honest about this, I don't plan on betting against Dortmund at all in the first week because I got trapped against them so many times last year where they looked like dog shit in Bundesliga. And I think to myself, if you can't handle the Bundesliga, how you go in the Champions League? And then they somehow took themselves all the way to a final run in 2024 and somehow always competed last year, even though they looked horrendous. So that's why I was mostly looking at the under. If you're going to pick a side here, props to you. But besides the both teams, I'm at the point now where I might just bet 1-1 draw as a finish line, let alone the halftime being a draw, folks.
Something else I wanted to mention here. Sabitzer is a guy I like for shots a lot. He's going to be playing in the midfield and should be in charge of a bunch of the free kicks for them. Jonathan Brandt is the guy who's going to take a bunch of their corner kicks. So I never hate a Brandt assist as a standalone. The thing with Dortmund is they're not going to play like they are in Bundesliga, especially the first couple of games in Bundesliga. They were playing some scrubs. They were able to just get the ball into Girassi, and he was having like 8 shots, I think, in the first game. I think he scored a hat trick in the first game. So you're going to be able to find guys in this Dortmund midfield and this Dortmund back line that are going to put up shots, and you're going to get some pretty good numbers on them with them being a road underdog here. We will keep it moving into Real Madrid versus Marseille, and I'm going to let go first on this one.
Real Madrid minus 1.5.
That is
Wood broken leg. Mbappe goal, if you like minus 140 goal scorers, he doesn't really look like he's slowing down. If you wanted to go for an Mbappe win cast and keep it real chalky, Bernabeu is a tough place to play in the Champions League, but especially when they're actually all humming. Jude Bellingham is back in training. Camavinga is back in training. Endrick is back in training. So this is only the beginning. Put it that way. Again, the future is looking pretty good right now. And once Madrid loses a game, I will stop being so confident about it.
So, honest question I have for you guys. Do you see them giving up a goal?
Penalty kick. Actually, wait, that's not a league of refs. I don't know. No, not really. How's it going to be good?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to score here.
Is there an ex-Madrid player on Marseille?
See, like that's what I was going to say. I don't really see anybody scoring here for Marseille. I don't have a ton of confidence in Greenwood. I certainly don't have a ton of confidence in old-ass Aubameyang. You know,
he's done it before.
Yeah, I mean, I like Igor Paschal, former Feyenoord guy that we bet on a lot last year. I might take him for some shots or like a shot on target, but I could easily see Madrid keeping a clean sheet. Marseille team total under a half at plus 140. Not a bad look. But yeah, I'm with Leg. I think it's Madrid all day here. I think we can score 3. I really like Madrid to score in both halves. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this one.
All right. I was going both teams to score and over 2.5 just to try to cut down some of those total numbers. Cause I mean, I do think Madrid are obviously scoring multiple goals, but I think Marseille can get on the board. Just something.
Hold on. Let me just stop you for a second. I watched Lyon hold them to a 0.
Okay.
So if we can't hold them to a 0 at the Bernabeu, I will be a little bit disappointed. But this is Lyon, who was relegated a few months ago, but still somehow playing in League One, that held them to a 0.
I don't think one has to do with the other. I mean, I don't know. I think you come out in the Champions League, you got to kind of put all your balls out there on the field. So I don't know. I think if they get a goal.
Did we maybe give France too many Champions League spots?
Maybe. Oh, maybe. No question. But I don't know. I just Madrid's D can give up a goal. That's all I'm trying to say.
When?
I mean, we did have a red card last game, but
it was a penalty kick.
I really like Madrid to score in both halves at minus 118 here. The other thing that I'm going to keep reminding you guys is, especially with Rudiger out, Tchouaméni is going to be our main target guy on set pieces as far as corners and like free kicks goes. He is by far our most skilled guy in the air. So Tchouaméni to take 2 shots is plus 115 on FanDuel. I'm sure there's a better number out there, so shop around and go find it. But I like Tchouaméni for 2 shots, and I would be sorely remiss if I didn't mention that Vinny Jr. always shows up under the bright lights. So Vinny goal and Vinny assist is always very much in play here. I want to say he's scored or assisted in like 13 of his last 15 Champions League appearances.
Can I just chat shit one more time on Marseille? And if they do score, I'll look bad. Because they have absolutely no goals away from home this year, too.
Through 2 games? 1 game?
3 games.
Yeah.
3 games.
How many away games?
2. And they have no goals, and now they're going to play Real Madrid.
I was struggling to really find anything else to bet. So I was throwing in the fact that I think they could score.
We'll keep it moving to the final Tuesday game, which is Tottenham versus Villarreal. Again, I am a Spanish-heavy believer. I was a little bit mistaken on Villarreal. I think they had one eye on Champions League. Plus, it's La Liga. Anytime you go into Atleti, you're going to have a tough time with the refs being against you there. Atleti really struggles on the road, but hold it down at home. I think Villarreal still played pretty well. I think Pepe is absolutely on fire for them. I'm a big fan of Tejan Buchanan, the Canadian international, who's been playing in the midfield for them. I think there's some value here. I definitely like the both teams to score at minus 150. I'm still completely unsure on who Tottenham is. Yes, they did get a big win. What was it, versus West Ham, I think, over the weekend? Yeah, they won 3-0 away. West Ham didn't do themselves any favors by taking a red card, and the weather was just absolutely shit in London this Saturday, which made a ton of those games go 0-0. So Spurs definitely have an offense. Villarreal's defense is fucking atrocious. They cough up goals left, right, and center. I love the over 2.5 here at minus 130. I'm hoping somebody here can say something nice about Tottenham to talk me off of maybe trying to take Villarreal on the Asian handicap at plus 0.5. Give me a little double chance action at minus 110. Yeah, I like the Spanish squads here.
I dig it. I don't see a reason to take Tottenham money line in this one. They win, good for them. But I'm 100% with you on the total here. I think over 2.5 is the play for me. I also like, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name, but the Georgian striker for Villarreal. I'm going to try to pronounce it. Mika Tudadze. Dude, that fucking They're forward. Plus 120 shot on target. I think that's just kind of a silly number for a striker playing against Tottenham.
Came over from Leg Squad Lyon.
Yeah, that was fucked up. Made him look good, too.
Well, they were getting relegated, right?
Yeah.
They were, but then they didn't.
Then we didn't. That's why we're back. Still beat Marseille.
Leg, you got anything else you like in this one?
I think it's just a really disrespectful number to Villarreal, but then they just got their ass beat kind of by Atleti, so I decided not to put up that fight. But I just think favoring Tottenham this much in a Champions League match, like Pochettino left. Like, what are we doing here? But would love to see an over. Looks like a card-heavy game for me, but it's week 1, so we don't want to do that.
Right. We definitely got to figure these refs out a little bit before we start throwing in crazy card bets.
If you want a crazy prop, I would say Pedro Porro shot. Spanish.
I like that. Let's move on to some of the Wednesday games. Starting with Bayern Munich hosting Chelsea at the Allianz. Bayern has looked like an absolute wagon, but they've been playing in Germany. Chelsea has looked pretty good, except for they super choked that game at the end over the weekend. Chelsea's defense isn't good. Guendouzi has been like playing a bunch of offense lately, which is kind of strange. Enzo Fernandez is another guy who likes to get forward.
Wait, hold on. Did you just mix up haircuts and you said Guendouzi instead of Cucurella?
I did. Yeah, my bad. I meant Cucurella. Yeah,
I don't think any Lazio players are playing on.
Yeah, Guendouzi's on Lazio, who we'll talk about later.
Great hair.
Yeah, 2 guys with great hair. But yeah, Cucurella has been getting forward in the offense as well as Enzo Fernandez, which leaves not a lot of guys back to defend a Bayern team that's really fucking pacey, and you're going to have a really tough time countering the likes of Harry Kane. I doubt we'll see Nicholas Jackson, but if we do, I love a Nicholas Jackson fuck you revenge goal versus his old team Chelsea. Luis Diaz has been tearing it up, coming off a red-hot international break. Serge Gnabry playing in the middle. Elise out on the wing who just jacks all day. I think Chelsea's got to be really, really fucking careful not to get caught out here because Bayern is going to play with a lot more pace and have the finishing capabilities of teams they haven't faced yet this season in the Premier League. I love goals in this one. That's why the over-under is set at 3.5. Both teams to score at -185 probably makes a nice little parlay piece. I like goal in both halves for Bayern for sure. But yeah, at home at the Allianz, Bayern Munich's got to win this game. You're getting Harry Kane for an anytime goal at like -120 to like +100, which is, you're not going to see that outside of Champions League. He's like -380 to score in Bundesliga. So there's some really, really good props here on everybody's front four. I think there's a lot of goals here.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I would say it's a 5-6 goal game or it's like a 0 goal game, right? Like it's that Chelsea masterclass, like treat it like a final. Somehow Bayern doesn't get a goal despite like a 5 XG. That's the only other alternative. I don't see this in the 1, 2, 3 goal range. So I wouldn't mind playing the over 3.5. I think we have to remember last year too, the group stage was just on fire with goals. Like seemed like every single game, regardless of opponent, regardless of venue, every game overs were hitting. So I hope that we see that in this one. This is kind of baiting me to take Chelsea on the Asian handicap. For some reason, I just think they get up for this game. They're going to try to not get embarrassed. I'm not saying they win. I'm not saying they win away from home, but even +1, I think is -130. I'm close. I'm not there yet, but I'm really close.
Anytime I see this matchup, I just think about how much Bayern hates Chelsea because they robbed them of Champions League. And I feel like I can see it on the field because they do just beat the shit out of these guys anytime they can. The last 2 games I think they played, there was like a 5-goal aggregate, and Chelsea had 0. Bayern, again, I'm not a big fan of Company. I don't think it's that hard to coach in the Bundesliga. But also, if you gave me that Bayern roster, it'd be pretty hard to do a bad job with it. I love goals in this one. I think 3.5 is kind of lowballing it.
Agree.
I would hate to get the the good old jinx of all of us say, yo, there's going to be 6 goals in this, and then there's none. It is at the Allianz. I find it very hard to believe that Chelsea's going to go in there and get any type of result at all. I will now pray for Nick's spread if he does end up pulling the trigger. But if you want to go Harry Kane win cast, guys, you're not really going to get too many options at better numbers until the knockouts.
That's fair. And I would just mention the only real game in like groups last year where Bayern struggled at home was that weird game versus Celtic where Schmeichel was just absolutely standing on his head. That was a big kind of get in or get out game there for Celtic. So it was an impressive performance, and Bayern was already through. So they might have been a little bit lackluster there. But yeah, I have a hard time seeing very many clubs before knockout stages going on the road and getting a dub in the Allianz. That doesn't mean that the spread isn't live. I just think it's going to be really hard. I wouldn't get involved in Chelsea on the money line. That Asian handicap, though, definitely not a bad look, especially if we're seeing a really back and forth game, like a 3-2 or something like that, would right into Nick's Asian handicap.
Everything you guys are saying about Bayern is 100% correct, and they're the better team, and they're at home. It's just every time Chelsea's been underestimated to this level, they've shown up, at least in the past year and a half.
Facts. And if this does somehow stay a low-scoring game, it plays right into that Asian handicap because we think the game will be close if there is a lack of goals there. So let's keep it moving. Still on Wednesday, jumping back over to England, we have Liverpool taking on Atleti. I talked about how Atleti blows away from home. I don't have a lot of confidence in Atleti. I don't know what people have been seeing out of Pool that gives them a ton of confidence. You know, Pool went out and spent a shit ton of money. Pool is going to be a very good and extremely dangerous club later in the season. Once these guys get some more practice together, once Isak's fully game fit and starting a lot more, once Wirtz kind of gets the hang of this midfield. But we're seeing that Liverpool is struggling to make all of these big expensive pieces they got fit together right away. Is this a chance for a Spanish club to catch them sleeping in England?
100%. I feel like this number is disrespectful as hell. I've seen absolutely nothing from Liverpool where they should be minus 170. Anfield, very tough place to play. Liverpool, the better team by far, for sure, in almost every position except for a goalkeeper. But minus 170 and Atleti getting the +1 and a very bettable number. This looks like a Simeone, I'm going to go get a fucking tie match to me. So seeing the +1 or even an Atleti double chance at such a good number. Again, Liverpool, feel free to give me some free entertainment and prove me wrong and fucking score 3 or 4 goals. But if you only score 1 goal, that is not going to be enough against Atleti. And Simeone will go get his one. He'll put his own son in, have him cherry pick, score, and then he's parking the bus. And Anfield is going to hate it. This is going to be the most Spanish-Italian fucking soccer you've ever seen.
I wish I could pull it up cleanly, but Google's not allowing me to do that. I'm just looking. I'm remembering how Liverpool performed last year in Champions League, and now I'm looking at some of their results. The under is just like screaming at me at plus money. Even their wins, 2-0 wins, 1-0 win. I think they had that one game with PSV that was like a 6-goal game, but they had a red card in that one, so they gave up 3 to PSV. PSG in the knockouts were, I think, both 1-0 games or 0-0 games. So Pool, like you guys said, they haven't found it yet, and they didn't really score a lot in this competition last year. So I'm kind of riding with the under here.
I like that, and that plays right into the heavy Simeone defense. I will say Julian Alvarez is a guy, his goal number is absolutely ridiculous. I'm seeing plus 270 on FanDuel right now. Shop that around. If you can get into the plus 300s, that's outrageous for the guy who's probably going to be in charge of scoring the goal here. If Atleti get one, the other option is Sorloth, and that's a very similar number. Not very high on Griezmann, and he hasn't been playing a whole ton here for Atleti. So I would just kind of focus on Alvarez and Sorloth. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I think this could be a pretty tactical, low-scoring one. And like I said, Liverpool's just having trouble fitting all the pieces together. And you're taking on a guy in Simeone who just knows what it takes. Go on the road and get a draw. If you get a draw here and you're at Atleti, that's a win. You're going home with a single point here. That keeps you in line for the group stages. That's going to make the rest of your tournament a lot easier.
You're like making me want to like build a play for this game. See if I could build something stupid.
Gakpo shot on target. Julian Alvarez shot on target outside the box. Szoboszlai shot attempt if he starts it right back again.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Before we keep it moving from Liverpool, VVD, if his to take a single shot numbers anywhere around like minus 120 or better, I'm going to take that because Liverpool is going to get corners and he's the biggest target guy there is.
Atleti plus 1.5, under 3.5, minus 110.
I like that. Let's keep it moving. We're jumping over to Paris where we have PSG hosting Atalanta. PSG is a little bit banged up right now. They had Doye and I believe Dembele get hurt in international break for them. So it's going to be a pretty heavy Special K and Bradley Barcola show. What's up?
Apparently Special K might be doubtful. He has a calf injury.
Oh, did he get injured over the weekend too?
I don't know if he's fully fit. I mean, he could still play.
He scored over the weekend.
Yeah, I think he got subbed off.
Okay, for sure. So yeah, a lot of injuries here going for PSG. It might be, Special K is obviously questionable here. So we'll probably get a pretty heavy dose of Bradley Barcola, who is still really good. Kenyon Lee, who is still pretty good, and a nice piece there. Giancarlo Ramos, who is a guy that's still got some stuff to prove from me coming over from Benfica. But this midfield is absolutely nasty. You got Fabian Ruiz, Hakimi, Neves, Zaire Emery. I think it's still going to be really tough for an Atalanta team that hasn't looked super impressive, wasn't able to move Lookman. So I have no idea what's going on with Ademola Lookman there. I don't even know if he's going to make the roster for.
He'll be going to Turkey soon because that's what happens to all players that hold out
for Champions League. And it's not even that Lookman's like holding out. They've gotten some offers for him, but they're asking for like 30 million, which isn't an insane number, but like just refused to trade him to Inter, which, whatever, same league kind of deal. But yeah,
I think he failed his physical. I'm almost positive he failed his physical.
Okay. So yeah, there's been some strange stuff going on with Lookman there. I will say I am a huge Samacha guy. I'm unapologetic. I like Samacha to be able to get us a goal here. Anytime goals plus 370, shop that around. If you can get plus 400. Yep. Yeah, I mean, Samacha, he's a striker. He's very rarely going to assist. I think he's had like 5 assists in that year where he bagged 20 goals for Sassuolo. But Samacha, very strong in front of net, get in the 6-yard box, can play with his back to goal, knows how to find the net, knows how to finish, can score from distance as well. Should have scored the other day, rocked the woodwork, really pissed me off there. But yeah, give me Samacha. I like both teams to score here at minus 135. And I would just caution anybody who sees PSG as returning champs and is trying to auto bet them, like, no, go check out their injury sheet. They might have 4 or 5 starters that aren't playing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, not that I think Atalanta is good. They're going to struggle. They have a new coach who nobody rates highly. They've had some squad turnover, as you said, with, Lookman being held out for whatever reason. Both teams to score was where I initially went. I actually got it at minus 125. So definitely shop around on that because you can get a decent number. But the guy that I have to go to for PSG is Bradley Barcola. Like you said, he's plus 200 to score. The dude has been absolutely on fire. I think that's a really, really generous number.
I've been a Barcola guy.
No.
João Neves shots for me. If I'm not already on all the Barcola props, I am one of those people that thinks PSG is going to come in and handle business because I think Atalanta sucks, especially if you're not going to play Lookman. Then it's kind of – and Samacha, I know he left the Italian team because he got hurt. He's supposed to come back, I think, mid or late September.
Yeah.
It's the 15th right now. So, like, does this count? Are we good? Because I haven't heard an update about him for about a week. But outside of him, I don't know who's scoring if Lookman and Samacha are both not playing for Atalanta. If he is playing, I take it all back. One of my favorite Italian strikers. But I still think PSG is good for at least 2 or 3 at home. Barcola, Goncalo Ramos. Special K apparently is going to be back for this one, but he did get subbed out for discomfort. They did a test on him. Nothing's going to get hurt worse. He might be in some pain, but they don't care. We're trying to protect the title here. So PSG -1 for me. I am willing to auto bet it.
Yeah.
Atalanta, hopefully you get 1 for the boys here. But if I don't see Lookman or Samacha in the starting 11, I lose all faith in them.
I guarantee you can find a better number than this if you shop around. But Bellanova to take a single shot is -135 on FanDuel. Bellanova, I like for a single shot, anything close to plus money. I'd even play that -135 I'm seeing. Bellanova to take 2 shots, I'm going to ladder that. Him and Zappacosta are the 2 guys on the wing that'll be jacking up there. Zappacosta is -220 to take a single shot, so not as much value there, but Bellanova for a single shot at -135. Like I said, shop that round. You'll probably be able to find a plus number. That's absolutely ridiculous. He's had a single shot in the first 2 matches because I bet him. He was like +125. I think I texted Nixon Leg one week, and then he was +100 the week after. Had 2 shots in both games that was like over +500. So don't sleep on this Atalanta midfield. If their offense isn't working, they're going to have to do something. People are going to jack just to try and get on the board here and save a little self-respect away in Paris.
Pasalic should be jacking.
Respectfully to Krstovic, if you're starting up front, dog, like Atalanta, what are we doing?
Lecce's finest.
That does make me want to ask Nick a question. Is Pasalic going to have a good year since he had a shit year last year? Is he going to have a good year this year?
He's incapable of having a good year, but he will most certainly get the ball and ruin any attack that they have going. If you're looking at somebody to hit like the 15th row in the stands, he's your guy.
Starting with Club Brugge versus Monaco. And you're probably asking yourselves, why is this game on here? It's mostly so I can tell you guys Club Brugge is not the same Club Brugge they were last year. Decipher left, Jungala left, Tizolis left. There's a bunch of really good players here on Club Brugge that left. I was super high on Club Brugge last year. They even beat Atalanta in the knockouts, which I was standing on an island by myself taking. So I just have this on here to let you know this isn't the same Bruges as last year. They are still going to be hard to beat in Belgium. I like Bruges on the pick'em here. Give me the draw no bet at -110. I definitely see both teams to score, but at -195, that's super juiced. I don't even necessarily love it as a parlay piece. The over 2.5 is a much more tolerable number at -160. I do think Monaco gets in the back of the net here. And we get at least a 1-1 game. But that over 2.5 at -160 is where I'll probably go with this.
I was going to go the other way. I was going to say Monaco is a live dog in this one on the pick'em, but every time I want to believe in Monaco, they let me down. So I'll ride with you. I really, this is a total game where I would need to see both of these teams in action before I could give you any advice one way or the other. But if you strongly believe in either team, you know, that Asian handicap is a good look either way.
So when I saw this matchup, my first thought was, ooh, is Pogba finally going to play again? I was also going to go Monaco on the pick'em after seeing all the people that left Bruges. Probably end up not doing anything on this game to see if we're going to respect Bruges at home, because pretty much if they don't get at least a draw here, I don't respect them. So also would love to see Pogba. That's what I have to say about this game.
U.S. men's national team striker Florian Balogun for a goal is +180. For anybody out there who wants to support the U.S. men's national team but also can't stand U.S. men's national team Twitter, I want to keep seeing everybody do well for their club. I hope they do well for country, but you know, I'm not going to get into a huge U.S. men's national team rant. I do believe in the individual players, though. I like Balogun for a goal. Like I said, like plus 130-ish. I think Takumi Minatono is a really good look here for Monaco for a shot on target, sitting at like minus 150 over on FanDuel. Shop that around. You probably find a little bit better of a number. And then Akaluce, the Turkish bull at plus 100, I think is a good number as well.
That's his shot on target?
Yeah, over on FanDuel. Shop around. You might be able to find a better number, but anything with a plus sign in it for the Turkish bull seems pretty good in my book.
I feel like he scored his last like 2 games. Maybe they called him back.
All right, let's keep it moving over into Germany again, where we have Frankfurt hosting Galatasaray. Frankfurt looked pretty good over the weekend, but Galatasaray is your primary Turkish club. They went out, they spent all of the money. You got Victor Osimhen for a goal, sitting at plus 125. I really like if he gets some playing time for Frankfurt. Batchway, the Belgian winger, is a former Turkey player. I think he played for Fenerbahce, though, but if I see Batchway in the lineup, he'll probably do his best to get a goal against his former rivals in Galatasaray. Icardi coming off the bench, Champions League legend. Lot of good stuff here, and all very bettable numbers. Osimhen, like I said, for a goal at plus 130, super bettable here. Love the both teams to score, minus 230, super juiced. But I think Galatasaray stands a legitimate shot here. I like them on the Asian handicap. I'm not a big fan of half wins at the plus 0.25 for minus 105. I might try and move that up to plus 0.5 for like minus 130 on a double chance. I think Galatasaray is a very live underdog here at plus 225 as well on the money line. Their team total over 1.5 at plus 105 looks great too.
I'm not sure if Osimhen's fully fit also. He's one of those, he has discomfort, but that could have just been to skip the weekend game because he has Champions League. Icardi has 3 goals already in 4 matches on only like 130 some minutes.
Yep.
And nobody said anything about Leroy Sané yet. Leroy Sané is back in Germany. He's playing down that right wing and respectfully can do whatever the fuck he wants at this Galatasaray team. So him to score or assist, I would shot ladder him. If he's not feeding Icardi like right at the penalty spot, then Icardi's probably not going to shoot. So I'm going to run it up with Leroy Sané.
I'm with both of you. I think this is a good spot to take an underdog if you're going to take one. Asian handicap all day for me. Over all day for me. Team total. Good shout. This is a team that's going to give Frankfurt some fits. And I quite frankly, I don't think they're that good. And if this game was in Turkey, I would go even further all in.
Yeah, I'm really tempted on that Galatasaray money line, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, and as we saw last year, the fourth team that gets in, or any team from Germany that gets in that's not Dortmund and isn't Bayern, tends to struggle not only in this competition, but in staying up. We saw Union Berlin in here last year. They were not a Champions League team. They didn't really deserve a Champions League spot. We give so many to Germany. They almost got relegated again last season. And that's, the last time Frankfurt went all the way to, what was it, the Europa League final? Mm-hmm. I think they finished bottom half of the table in Germany. So Frankfurt's going to have to make a decision here. Are they focused on staying up and staying competitive in Germany, or are they going to go all in on UCL and miss the knockout rounds? Because if I'm Frankfurt, I would focus my attention on Germany.
Nah, fuck it. How often are they going to be in Champions League? You might as well make a run at it, right? They can get back up to the top flight in Germany.
Get some money.
It seems like every couple of years. That's just kind of how, like I said, 2 years ago, they made the Europa League final, and then they were really bad and struggled to finish in the top half of the table. So that's just how it goes. Obviously there's financial constrictions with all these, I don't want to say smaller clubs, but that's what it comes down to. You don't have the revenue to go out and get a bench like Real Madrid or Liverpool. You don't have 250 million laying around for guys that are going to be your 13th, through 20th player off the bench.
Hey, man, Frankfurt came into Spain and handled business. I forget what team they did that against, though. They knocked some big club out. I forget who it was. Some chumps that were playing in Europa League. I don't know.
All right, we'll keep it moving then. We're going right into Newcastle versus Barcelona. Speaking of chumps in Spain,
We're in England.
I would really like to get behind Newcastle here, and I'm sure Leg is going to give us a reason to get behind Newcastle here as a soft Newcastle fan. I fucking hate Barcelona, and I don't want to do it, but I'm going to take Barcelona on the money line, plus 125. That's a stupid number. I like Barcelona's team total over 1.5, minus 145. I want to say Newcastle gets us a goal because this Barcelona defense really isn't that good. And Levante scored 2 on them off the rip and went, but they obviously got some help there and ended up winning that game 3-2. So, I don't have any love for Newcastle here. It's not that I like Barcelona, but smart money's on Barcelona here.
Newcastle stink right now. They can't score goals. It took them one chance I think they had all game against Wolves this past weekend, the very worst team in the Premier League, just to get them kind of back on track. Barca scoring for fun right now. It just plus 125 is a number you do not see for this team. You have to take it. I can't even go or think any further than that.
All I know is that Nick Woltmade played 65 minutes in his first match for Newcastle and scored a goal. That's all I'm going to take away.
After he missed about 43 goals for Germany in the international break.
Yeah, and look how easy it is to do it in the EPL. I really don't have anything to back Newcastle here. I do think Newcastle can score a goal, though. As much as Nick just said they struggle, I think against a high line like what Barcelona is going to play, I think Anthony Gordon will catch them once or twice if he's going to be playing in this one. I think Harvey Barnes is going to be – there's going to be a lot of dangerous breaks, counterattacks. And if Woltmade can somehow hit a fucking rectangle, Newcastle will get us one because Barcelona is leaking right now. And they got no Lamine Yamal to just force feed crosses in there. Lewandowski is back, though. Rafinha is back. I think Rafinha is going to show everyone again why it's actually his team because that is their best player. The numbers we're getting on Rafinha is a little ridiculous to me. But no, taking Barcelona on a plus sign against Newcastle in the year 2025 of our Lord seems kind of stupid not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that Lewandowski hasn't been getting a ton of tick for Barcelona. He came on as a sub at halftime and bagged a goal in their win over the weekend. Lewandowski in the UCL has something like 95 goals in 115 appearances. I'm going to take Louis for a goal at plus 110. I think that's a pretty easy move there.
He's also still really good. I don't know if we all forgot about that.
Yeah, scored for Poland over the international break, scored over the weekend. Still really good at football. So Lewandowski in Champions League at a plus number is kind of a must take. Let's keep it moving. Our final match over in England, Man City versus Napoli. This Napoli team definitely looks good. I think they've made some nice improvements. I think Højlund is a good signing for them. I think he's going to do much better back over in Italy. I don't super rate this City team. They can score goals. They can score goals all day, but this defense is kind of ass. Both of their games that I've watched, they've looked really poor, especially in the first half. So I kind of like a first half goal here. I love the both teams to score at minus 135. I think the over 2.5 is really live here at minus 140. And Napoli on not even a double chance. You give me that plus 0.75 at minus 110, maybe even a plus 1 at minus 130. I think Napoli's a really live underdog here.
I agree. It's one of those that doesn't match up. If you're plus 400 on the money line, you should, plus 0.75 at a negative number doesn't make sense to me. There's a little.
It's DraftKings. It's a 40 cent fucking spread.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to say if you can get that Asian handicap somewhere in plus money, you absolutely should. I think Napoli is not getting enough love from the books in this one. Not saying they're going to win the game. They could. They very well might. Like you said, City hasn't been good. It took a drubbing of Manchester United this week to get them back on track, where United's a complete dumpster fire, and United still had 3-4 really good chances to score in that game. So I'm with you on both teams to score. I think if you can get Napoli at +1, maybe even +1.25, depending on how the line ends up or what book you're using, you have to kind of take it. He's made for these competitions. So you say what you want about him, he does show up in a Champions League, in a knockout type tournament. Napoli needs all the money they can get. They're going to come for points in this one. I don't see City blowing them out. So I wouldn't lay -150. I wouldn't lay a goal. I think Napoli are just too good for that.
Yeah, it just feels like a really disrespectful number to Napoli. I do also believe Napoli, if you can get them on the spread, that's cool. I'm running with the double chance for sure. I low-key am looking at this money line. McSauce is home back in Manchester, so I'm going to take all my McSauce props. KDB's back, maybe a little shot on target outside the box to score assists. I don't know. Apparently, is he on their fucking penalties? Because that made me sick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's fucking lame. Outside of Erling Haaland, I don't know what to really expect from Manchester City. Rodri looks like absolute dog shit compared to his usual pedigree. Bernardo Silva's wearing the armband. If I'm Haaland or Rodri or even Ruben Diaz, I'm snatching that shit off his arm. Who the fuck are you, Bernardo? Didn't you try to leave like the last 4 years?
To be gone, yeah.
Dude, KDB +525.
What for? What, a goal?
For a goal? Yeah. Am I seeing that correctly?
Yeah. The score assist number probably looks fantastic.
Oh no, that's coming in right. I'm betting that right now as we're talking.
That's how I felt about betting the Marseille Madrid. Both teams to score no. While we just finished that one, I was immediately.
Yeah.
City sucks. That's all I'll say. Erling Haaland and friends is what I'm going to call this team until somebody else plays well.
City has definitely looked pretty ass. That said, outside of like Haaland and Foden, everybody's shot on target is pretty bettable here. McSauce is -145 on FanDuel. Tijani Rangers, which is a little revenge versus another Italian team now that he is over in England, -140. Højlund, the main striker here for Napoli, especially with Lukaku out, -135. KDB -105 just for a shot on target. Like, there's a lot of advantage to be taken here from a Napoli team. I expect to be extremely competitive. And like I said, City's defense hasn't impressed. It's not like they're not out here holding fucking zeros except for against United. But I mean, I don't know. We could probably go get 9 kids from the park down the street and we could hold United to zeros. So yeah, there's a lot of really good numbers on the player props here. I will mention once again that I did with Leg on Wednesday when we were talking Italian football, and Guisu's been shooting a lot more for this Napoli team, which is something the sportsbooks really haven't caught up to yet. And then Guisu's low-key, like, he's been nasty with the assists, too. Yeah. He's been putting in some really good through balls.
He's everywhere, man.
And even if he's not the guy who's getting credit for the assist, he's making the pass that, like, makes the pass, you know? He's making that hockey assist. So I would just keep an eye on Guisa props. For those of you who like a long shot sprinkle, his assist is going to be like 9, 10, 12 to 1, something like that. So might be worth a cup of coffee there. All right, that's going to do it for us. That is 3 days of Champions League action. We obviously did not get to every game. I will be doing live shows for the 3 in the afternoon games on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Both of you guys are obviously welcome to join, just depending on your schedules. So feel free to let me know. I am your host, Burroke77, joined by Young Leg to my right and Nick Diani all the way to the right. Be sure to check us out doing our different podcasts, our different shows on YouTube. Leg and I do one every Wednesday night at 7:30 called 2 Foot Talk. You can find the link for that down below in the description, as well as Nick, his boy Scotty, and Coach. They tend to start right around like 8:30 on Wednesday,
8:30,
right?
8:45, yeah.
So right after 2 Foot Talk, you can go jump over and watch the Kicks and Picks pod with Nick Diani. All the links for that are going to be posted right down here below in the video description as well. Best of luck to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we look forward to seeing you at the window. Oaks out. Doses. We outside.